Good evening and welcome to the penultimate show of the series, and with 2 games to go and Paul Merton only 4-2 ahead, Ian Hislop has everything to play for, apart from a victory of any sort. In the news this week, at Westminster Tube Station, Transport Police are unimpressed by a fare dodger's excuse about a broken ticket machine. As Jeffrey Archer and his wife prepare to speed away from the press, there's an uncomfortable moment as they realise they're out of petrol. And on his triumphant journey home from Crufts, the intelligence of the world's cleverest dog is called into question. On Ian Hislop's team is a man who once said, "I did not plan to be a journalist." Always nice when someone fulfills their ambition. Boris Johnson. And with Paul Merton tonight is the editor of The Independent on Sunday, who last appeared on this show the same week as Boris Johnson, and for some reason known only to the BBC, rebooking them both works out cheaper than showing the repeat. Round 1 is what we're mathematically obliged to begin with. Paul and Janet, your revolting behaviour.
Right, this is a demonstration in Seattle.
Against the World Trade Organisation. Now, did you know that Boris's dad is one of those demonstrators in Seattle?
That's absolutely true.
Is it right?
Is it true? Did your dad, or did he not, dress up in a Ninja Turtle outfit and embarrass you by being one of those?
No. I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, it wasn't he was a loggerhead turtle. He was. And he did jolly well. And he stormed those RoboCop policemen.
Just run that.
And there was a first-class piece of reporting about it.
By himself in your magazine.
Right, I was exactly.
Fine piece by Boris's dad in Boris's mag. No, but you should.
Well, I don't think I should discriminate against my family.
But yeah, you were on record saying he was magnificent.
Well, I think he was.
Yeah.
Did he get it?
Come on. I mean, you know, if your father turned up as a turtle.
I'd put him in a home.
I think you'd feel proud.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Sounds like he's already broken out of her.
No, I would.
Yes, it is the protest triggered by the World Trade talks. Protesters in Seattle ran amok in the city centre, doing thousands of pounds worth of damage in one Starbucks cafe alone. They knocked over 3 cappuccinos. At one point, looters dressed in urban combat gear with camouflage trousers and balaclavas burst into a branch of Gap, realised they were already wearing all the clothes and left again. Ian and Boris, your man.
This is McGuinness. Trimble, taking a bow. Oh, God, that's Paisley, that's Adams. Amazing collection of people all together. And that's Mandy.
Who was the most controversial appointment this week?
Depends who you are. I suppose it was McGuinness.
Heartwarming development for the children of Ulster. They have a new education minister, that's the point that Ian's making. And he'll give them the benefit of his experience in key subjects.
You're winding down, Boris.
Key subjects not normally on the curriculum, you know.
Right, such as?
Are we allowed to say, you know, bomb making and...
It will be interesting in the playground, won't it? Is fighting compulsory now?
That's
Before
right.
you go on a cross-country run, they give you a 3-minute warning.
And who officially handed over all the powers then?
The Irish Republic?
Yeah.
And Downing Street.
The Queen handed over her
Did
powers.
she?
Yeah.
Yep. It was very good of her, wasn't it? She's had a busy week going to the Royal Variety performance, handing over powers and all that.
Opening the opera, all those dresses.
Joe Pasquale.
Is he a minister in the new assembly?
The helium.
Were you at the opera, opening of the Royal Opera?
Yeah, I was at the opera, and it was really Boris, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
My godmother was a ballet dancer, and I went to the opera and the Royal Ballet. You know, just because I talk like this doesn't mean, Boris, don't get classist with me.
Well, I didn't get classes with you. I didn't get... That's unfair. That's
Let's hang him.
Yeah. No, I did go the most nauseating sight was the entire audience applauding the Queen for walking in. I mean, it's incredible. It's enough to make you want a republic even sooner.
What's wrong with the Queen?
Because everyone was looking at the Queen's dress instead of Janet's.
So what is the Independent on Sunday's official stance on the Northern Ireland problem then?
We have a very good correspondent, David McKittrick, who was the correspondent of the year, and...
So we should ask him?
No.
Well, he is a correspondent. You should ask him.
Well, the week before last, I had breakfast with Sinn Féin. So there you go.
Well, all of them.
Well, the whole of Sinn Féin.
No, with Mitchell McLaughlin.
Who picked up the bill for that then?
He came into the independent offices in Canary Wharf and had coffee with me.
Right, so he
No,
paid for
shut you
coffee.
up, hasn't he?
It's pretty decent of it. That was the thing he tried to blow up about 4 years ago. I hope he liked it.
I think you have to say at this point.
I'm sorry, not him. No, I just want to say for the benefit of the lawyers, it was not Mr. McLaughlin who
We realise that.
blew up South Quay.
This is the long-awaited devolution of power to the new Northern Ireland Assembly. It's only fair to point out the role of Peter Mandelson, without whom, of course, none of this would have happened any differently. After the historic step towards peace, one commentator observed, "Yesterday was a great day and everyone decent knows it." And as if to confirm that, Ian Paisley said, "Every vote cast today is a vote of shame and a vote for darkness." Paul and Janet, your sound bites.
That's the agricultural minister. I'd caught up with Geoffrey Archer at last.
Butchers celebrating.
Yeah, Butcher's celebrating.
Beef on the ban.
Beef ban bone lifted.
Finally, on December the 17th in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
So who's flouting the ban?
The French rugby team. They ate beef on the bone before they stuffed the New Zealanders.
Did they eat beef on the bone? I thought they ate British beef.
They took it off the bone before they swallowed it, surely.
It did. It was originally on the bone. It
Yes.
must have been.
Otherwise, cows would be totally flat in the field. Like lilos with horns. Hell of a job milking them. You'd have to dig a tunnel and then dig up again.
Maybe they can do that, though, with this new genetic thing. They might be.
Good comeback.
Yeah.
Did you come across many mad cows on your rambles?
Well, yes.
I think you should ask the ramblers.
There are parts of the country where they're friskier than others.
This is the end of the beef on the bone ban, which will also sadly mean fewer news reports from cowsheds such as this one.
If the visit to France is successful, Mr. Amos is hoping he can persuade Brittany Ferries.
And so for an extra point, what happened next?
Does the backbone disappear in that cow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes flat.
Yeah. In case of bovine lilo.
Oh, he mentions Peter Mandelson's private life and the whole thing's cut.
Yeah.
In which case that would be cut from the show, in which case there'd be no point
Is
in
that
showing
really
it to
true?
you.
Can you know? Is it still the case? You cannot mention.
Try it, Boris.
What?
See what happens.
You're not allowed to mention that Peter Mandelson's won't go out.
Really? Could you do a sort of IRA type dubbing thing so that they, you know, what they used to do is, could you have an actor saying it?
I think almost certainly
No.
not, Boris.
Well, try it, Boris. You move your lips and I'll do the bit. Mike, Peter Mandelson is. That should be all right. That should be all right. We'll go away with that.
Excellent.
I don't know what he's complaining about, the great big Mary. So, is it, does a cow at the end turn around and say something? Industrial espionage, something like that.
OK, let's have a look.
Let's give it a go.
If the visit to France is successful, Mr. Amos is hoping he can persuade Brittany Ferries to start...
Celebrating the end of the ban in their own
Guys.
particular way. The Germans have agreed to play fair and sell our beef throughout Germany, as long as it bears their approved logo for British beef, the word Achtung stamped over a skull and crossbones. And finally, Ian and Boris.
Parthenon.
Yes, Parthenon. This is the Elgin marbles. They're marvellous. And they're here.
Right, and who's complaining?
Oh, the Greeks. They want them back.
Right.
Anything old and Greek they want back.
You can have Prince Philip.
They can have it.
Now you can have a party in front of them, apparently, at the British Museum, where the waiters and waitresses dress up in kind of mini Grecian-style tunics, and you can have a Grecian theme party.
If we have that party next year, it'll be called Grecian 2000. What are you moaning about? You moaned for nothing, didn't you?
So, Boris, what's the Spectator's editorial stance on this?
I think, obviously, the marbles, in an ideal world, should have remained in the Parthenon on the Acropolis, if you really want my answer, and then that would have been wonderful. On the other hand, they're there in the British Museum, and it would ruin the British Museum to take them away. We could have a perfectly good cast made and all that kind of thing.
Well, and send the cards back to them and keep the real ones here.
Yeah.
Have you discussed this with your staff? I think one of your staff, at least, is Greek, isn't he?
Ah, yes.
Is this Tacky?
Tacky.
It is Tacky, yes.
No, the person's name, Tacky.
And so is he, yes.
Right, why is he Tacky, then?
Well, I suppose it's because he's a drug smuggler who's been at Imagine His Pleasure. Mostly. He's a playboy Greek millionaire who graces Johnson's publication for reasons unknown to everybody. I think they should send him back.
Well, is he your dealer?
I know, I have no knowledge of
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer.
No, the answer is no. He is a very distinguished columnist.
No, he isn't. He's awful.
Yes.
And you know he's awful and you should sack him, but you don't. Largely because I keep suggesting
I can't. It's absolutely impossible to sack him for many reasons.
You have thought about
One of which is he's terrific and the readers are galvanised by him. And even if that were not the case...
Which it isn't.
Yeah. Ian keeps telling me to sack him. And it just, you know what I mean? It puts me in an impossible position.
Do you think he's slightly racist at all? Do you know how he described the Puerto Ricans the other day?
No. Wait a minute.
Semi-savages and unbelievably loud.
Rhubarb.
Could have been talking about you, Boris.
Rhubarb. No. We can't have
Start giving him a nudge, will you, Ian?
Yeah. We can't...
Last time you were on this programme...
No. We can't have that.
Why did you come back onto this programme again?
Well, basically, because for the money. I'm not a...
Because last time we were on you created this enormous stink because you said everything was
I know,
rehearsed.
I want to apologise for that. I'm very sorry about that.
Oh, well, that's fair
enough. It was a great
enough.
mistake.
Because Norman Tebbit then started having a go as well.
Did he?
Norman Tebbit said, well, of course, these people, they can't improvise live.
No. I want to make it clear to all the little children who are watching, and who, who may have sometimes sort of felt, wondered, like when Father Christmas exists, whether this show is entirely, as it absolutely sort of brilliant flow of spontaneity. It is.
It is.
It is. And
well said, Boris. Thank you.
No, it really is. It is.
Meanwhile, back at the quiz, both teams are flat out, level as they are on 4. Like round 1, and a few of us did, our second round involves identifying news stories, but from a cryptically amusing tabloid headline. So, Paul and Janet, your ribald revolver is the amazing Technicolor Queen coats.
Well, this is, I think it was Monday. She went to the Royal Variety performance wearing a very multicoloured Harley Queen, as I think some people called it, sort of effect.
We can have a look at the dress here if you want to. There you are.
Look at
This is radiant.
Well, quite honestly, that colour yellow on the bottom half, the dark blue would have been much more flattering. So I'll leave it at
Can you
that.
stand up, Janet?
I'm in leather. Look, there's nothing wrong with my outfit. Oh, I'm going to hurt. Well,
No, you're right.
nothing wrong.
Very nice.
It's beautiful.
Would you like to see what I'm wearing?
Yeah, let's say you look fantastically elegant.
Look at that. Your turn, Boris.
All deliberate.
Do I have to stand up?
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wearing a sweater. Hi. Ian. Go on.
Has he got the dress on? No dress. We win.
Don't you auction your clothing off?
Not anymore. I've sold it all the stuff that was in the rubbish bags. I think you brought this up last time.
Yeah, this
Angus.
show's identical.
Yeah, same show.
What do you do with your old suits?
Yeah, Angus, where can I go?
Where's
Yours,
them?
we could be the same size.
I'm wearing them.
You're not wearing all 150 of them now.
I bet he's got an auction coming up at Sotheby's.
No, he wouldn't take the risk, whereas you just went up there, said, people can bid for my clothes, and they
I don't
didn't.
care. And then I'd be derided when some of them didn't fetch very much money.
Well, I'm not surprising because some of them were described apparently as slightly perished under the armpits.
Are you assuming that I sweat?
An old colleague of yours apparently said that you'd done for fashion what the M25 had done for hedgehogs.
Who is that? What do you mean an old colleague?
I haven't got his name.
So you're passing on.
Yeah,
You're passing on.
that sounds
That's
fitting
a rather
to me.
sexy,
You made that up.
pathetic remark. You've got to have much more clothes than me. I like this pot calling the kettle black. Every time I've seen you on TV, you've got a new suit on.
Is that sexist?
Well,
No.
you just made a sexist remark about my wardrobe and M25 and hedgehogs or something. I
It
know, which I
wasn't
don't
sexist, it was personal, Janet. You mustn't confuse this.
Yes, this is the fuss over the Queen's outfit worn to this year's Royal Variety Performance and described as show-stopping, so some good came of it. When the Queen entered the theatre wearing her multicoloured Harlequin-style blouse, one stunned onlooker said, "We only realised it was her because of her trademark white gloves." Although surely being on all the nation's stamps and banknotes for the last 50 years must have helped. Ian and Boris, your acrobatic header. Winner brings the house down.
Oh, yes.
This is the Turner Prize. This is a bloke who does video art. And he did a recreation of a scene in a Buster Keaton movie where a house falls down and the bloke is standing in the window. But this has already been done by Buster Keaton, but he's done it again, so it's art. And he's done it very slowly, so it's very good art.
Do you know, sometimes I do wonder about you, Ian.
What do you wonder, Janet?
Is it really necessary to be such a Philistine? Just out of interest, what kind of art do you have on your
He's got a
bed?
lovely Athena reproductions.
It's a tennis girl with no shorts scratching her ass.
When does your taste in art stop?
About 1320.
Right.
That's nearly 1:30, isn't it?
But it's not called a painting or a video or anything, is it? It's an installation, he refers to it as.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'd like to see it. You said, does it happen in slow motion?
Very
Is that
slow motion.
We
yeah.
weren't allowed to show it. We did ask.
Oh, really?
Said no,
That's
yeah.
a shame.
Is that true?
Yeah?
Why not?
Allowed because it's art. No, if we put it on our programme, it'd be television.
Well, I did appear on an appalling Nick Ross that went out the same night where they made a replica of Tracy Emin's bed. It did seem an incredible waste of licence payers' money to just get a bed in the studio and get the scenery and the set people in to copy it. I mean,
Was it as good as Tracy Emin's bed? I
it's
mean,
the
in
things
what
in
way
a
was it
paint
different? Was
gallery
it,
occupying a huge room that you can walk
But
around,
it-
and then you've got something in a TV studio cobbled up by a couple of carpenters.
yeah, and carpenters. I mean, what do they know about beds?
Boris, what art do you have on your bedroom wall?
Well, I paint myself, actually. To be
Do
fair.
you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you get into bed before you're dry?
This is the Turner Prize, which was won by artist Steve McQueen and featured a video of a wall falling on his head. He wins £20,000, which comes on top of the £250 he's already received from You've Been Framed. Which master strokes mean at the end of this frame, it's still neck and neck and neck and neck at 6-all. Find the odd one out is what we do in round 3 with a level of success that's as consistent as it is low. Just one per team this week. Ian and Boris, your fictional creations are James Bond, Boris Johnson, Prince William and Douglas Hurd.
That's not fair. You're turning Boris into a figure of fun.
Absolutely not.
There's got to be an odd one out here. Is that the idea? I think it's poor Hurd. Is the only one in pain?
James Bond has got a license to kill.
Yep.
And he's an old Italian.
Yep.
They're all old Italians. Except him, who's a
Who's
present Italian.
he's still there.
I could give you a clue.
Go on then.
It's about being top of the pops.
They're all in pop. Were you in pop?
Pop. Yes, I was in pop.
Right. William is in pop, which is a prefect society, an elite society that vote each other in. Boris obviously was. Bond wasn't, Hurd was.
Hurd was, yes.
Is the right answer.
Thank you.
The answer is they're all poppers, the name of an elite society at Eton, except for James Bond, who was kicked out of Eton, in fact, after only 2 terms.
I've never heard of this pop. What does pop stand for?
What does pop stand for?
Oh, no, oh, no.
What are you doing under the table, Boris? You're not going to pop now, are you? Don't wipe your hair, for God's sake. It's like that film, The Trouble with Mary. It'll be like that.
The Daily Mail recently reflected on the careers of all the poppers in 1982 to show how many of them, like Earl Spencer, had gone on to become the leading lights of their generation, while others, for some reason, had sunk without trace.
Oh, no. This won't get on TV.
Everyone's going to love you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sweet little face. Yeah. You haven't changed a bit. Paul and Janet, Barbara Windsor, Boris Johnson, Margaret Thatcher and Judy Finnegan.
They've all suffered from premenstrual tension and the menopause, apart from Boris, who went straight from being a boy to having a kind of male menopause without any pause, without anything between.
She's right, she's right.
Is it about being blonde?
It's something that 3 of them have that you were once advised to have.
Elocution lessons.
Oh, yeah, no, not this.
Isn't it?
So is Boris the odd one out because he's not had elocution lessons? Is that the answer?
Yes, it is the answer, actually. Well done. Absolutely right. So what are the...
Barbara Windsor had elocution to get that voice. So originally she sounded like Boris.
Hey, what a lovely pair.
Yes, no, she had elocution lessons in London's East End. Her mother sent her there. But why was Boris particularly chosen as an exception? There is a reason.
Boris claimed that he was dropped off Radio 4 recently because his accent wasn't correct for the new plebby BBC.
Oh, that's quite right. Well done, yes.
And I've always suspected that to be a complete load of old rubbish. They just dropped off the programme because the programme moved on.
No, actually, it is true that was the stated reason. And I thought it was quite a funny point.
Boris Johnson was sacked by the BBC for being too posh, although he recently told The Guardian, "A voice can be changed, we plummy-voiced brayers can adapt." So how's it coming on, this adaptation?
Well, I'm making progress.
Right, yes. And so to our missing words round, regarded by many as being our last. A bunch of half-cut headlines from the papers, including some fewer or more from this week's guest publication, the inimitable Rocking Horse magazine. So stand by for Irish snail threatens what?
Welsh tortoise. Golf course in Ireland. Threatens the Pope by climbing on a stepladder and waving a razor in his face. I'm after you, you dirty little bugger. You come here, you dirty little bugger. I'll have you know.
It's not actually that story.
Is it not? It should be. It's Greg Norman's golf course.
It is Greg Norman's golf course. Yes, the Great White Sharks golf course is actually the answer.
Yeah.
Next is what an endangered species?
The dodo.
John Prescott.
Yes.
Boris.
No.
Janet Street Porter, that's quite long.
Is it a person or a plant?
Is the rocking horse?
It is, right.
Well done.
That's right. As featured in Rocking Horse magazine, a question posed by Auntie Jackie in her agony column, who for some reason seems to be naked from the waist down.
Let's have a look. Cool.
Next, police dog is sacked for what?
Failing to protect Pope against Irish snail.
Being too friendly.
Racism.
Licking people.
Lack of bite is how it
Well, same thing.
puts it. This is an Alsatian who has an obsession with licking criminals, rather like Monica Coughlin. Next, stun your lobster with what?
This is a new gadget that someone's invented.
With your command of French.
With kindness.
What does the
Kindness.
invention involve?
Electric shocks.
Electricity.
Volts.
110 volts.
Thank you.
Is the answer. Before being dropped into boiling water, if you want your lobster to suffer less, you can stun it with 110 volts, immerse it in fresh water for 2 hours, or order the chicken. And why is it so much? Because 110 volts is quite a lot.
They only scream at that voltage.
They're very bad conductors, apparently.
Really?
Well, I didn't want to do the joke. Very difficult to hold a baton when you've got claws.
Yeah. And finally, what? The easy way?
Rocking horses.
Build a rocking horse.
No, it is to do with rocking horses, in fact, but slightly more technical.
Rocking.
Oh, varnishing them.
Ah.
Yes.
Varnishing.
Polishing.
Polishing. Because obviously there's some sexual innuendo here.
That's a little bit of a code in certain circles. I was sitting at home polishing me rocking horse.
Yeah.
We've all done that when we're lonely.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was a sexual innuendo, but hoof notches, the easy way. Is in fact which rough justice signals the tail end of tonight's barking contest, in which this week's sons of bitches are Ian and Boris with 9, whilst this week's top dogs are Paul and Janet with 14. But before we let them loose on society, there's the moral obligation of our caption competition to endure.
Yeah, this is the camel.
Come on in a van.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not your dad, off to another protest.
Okay, thank you. And I leave you with news that after making a bold speech against Tony Blair, John Prescott notices Alistair Campbell entering the room. At an award ceremony in London, the Duke of Edinburgh makes an inappropriate remark about the Daleks.